It says you're live, but I'm looking for the ticker that says it's actually made it a little late because the internet connection tonight is horrible. And I apologize for that. Live 22, 23. Okay, well, I'm assuming this is going according to plan. But yeah, lots of interests and things to talk about tonight. And this is how you viewership. You just keep coming on and get likes and subscribes and shares. Yeah, a lot of rabbit holes lately in my free time. Been YouTubing it and infinitely incredible stuff about the simulated reality, simulated universe. Are we a computer program? Is the universe just a construct? And there's a lot of evidence to point to, yes, it is. Deeply interested, went down more rabbit holes about DMT and ayahuasca ceremonies and all that. And I've always wanted to have that one instance where you could actually sit down and speak to a different entity and go, what's going on here? You know, what's this all about? Why am I here? What are we doing? And I never, as far as organized religion goes, I never saw the universe, the source energy, whatever you want to call it, as God. You know, if you do, hey, I mean, that's up to you. I mean, you can put whatever face or whatever you want on it. I was just never been a very big organized religion person. That's why I liked Odinism so much, because it's organized, but it isn't. It's not the Catholic Church, you know, that kind of organization. But, you know, I've always wanted that experience of just sitting down and going, hey, what are we doing here? You know, what's going on? And I've never been, I'm sure I drank, you know, I was in the military. I drank occasionally, you know. I process it so fast that it's not really worth it. You know, I stay tipsy for about 25 minutes and then I'm good. Never been interested in drugs, never been high, never done any of that stuff. I mean, other than pain medication, you know, the hospital. But I do have a profound interest, because I don't really consider these drugs. More mind expansion. You think of Timothy Leary, Terrence McKenna, you know, people of that ilk, you know, more mind expansion type stuff. And in DMT and ayahuasca, and it's amazing the stories. I mean, over vast swaths of people reporting the same things, the same entities, the same type of experiences, going to the same places. And I really don't think it's just a construct of your mind. I really think it is either another reality, another dimension, another, you know, who can put a face or a name on it? I certainly can't. But that's always been a severe interest to me to do that. And it's because it's not addictive. It's not, your body produces DMT already. So it's not, and ayahuasca is another version of DMT. It's an oral version made from, I believe, the toads in South America. It's toad venom and some sort of leaves and something else. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I mean, just things that have been of vast interest to me, you know, over the years, because, you know, who wouldn't want to excuse me. It's my, not a sponsor, but I'm addicted to this stuff. This is all I drink in coffee, bubbly water and coffee. But, it's always been a vast interest to me to be able to have that sit down or that experience or that chat with whoever, whatever. And the universe theory has always been interesting. I wrote a book it's not on Amazon anymore. I pulled it because of the hoops that you have to go through to get it advertised and all that kind of stuff. But one of the chapters I had was about your own reality. It's a lot like a video game, to where there's a central belief that, say, like in any one video game, you're driving down the street. Well, as you're driving and things get closer, they're getting rendered and popping up in front of you. And presumably, as they pass out of your vision in the game, that they're no longer rendered. They don't exist. It doesn't exist until you turn around and look at it. And that's a lot what, so like glitches in the Matrix. It's a lot of, and I've seen stuff that I can not go, yeah, I could totally explain what that was. But it's one of those that it's not rendered until it's your mind's eye focus is on it. And they even have people called, as in video games, was this something player character? I can't, the thing fell out of my head, but basically it's all the background people that are doing whatever they're doing because they're programmed to do that. That's your small box of reality, and they're programmed to walk around. You can go ahead and interact with them and stuff like that, but essentially they're just part of the program. And then you have your Agent Smith types that are part of the program that can have more interaction with you. So ostensibly what we're talking about is everybody has their own reality. I have my own reality. My daughter has her own reality. Assuming my dog has his own reality. But that is been a fundamental interest to me that Neville Goddard, who is the grandfather of law of attraction and things of that ilk, is a concept of everybody is you pushed out. So in other words, there's me and my reality, and then there's everybody else, and how I interact and how people come to me and interact with me is basically a reflection of me. The universe is one gigantic mirror, and you're going to get what you reflect. So if you're reflecting out, whatever it is, it's going to get reflected back to you. Like, why did this person do this to me? Well, in some way you created the reflection in you by something internal. And it goes down a huge rabbit hole that, there's not enough time. I'd be on here for hours and I'm sure you'd fall asleep, but I find it interesting. You have everyone as you pushed out, in the universe, the player characters and types of video games you have. And see, and as you're watching this, I'm a construct in your reality. So essentially, we're all the gods of our own reality. Because when it breaks down to the most basic level, you are source energy, the prevailing, and I don't want to call it a theory. I don't want to take anything away from it, and I don't want to sound off as something that's not. Prevailing theory is that you are the divine, you are source energy, having a human experience. And you can come back here as many times as you wish. Near-death experiences have talked about it, that, it's not your time. Don't come back yet. You're going to come home to us eventually. And then you have the option, if you want, to come back down here to the carnival and, play the rigged carnival games. And I heard it best described by one gentleman's DMT trip that he said that at the end of you get blasted off and you go into this dimension and, you interact with these entities. But in the end, there was this carnival. Or not I'm sorry, back up. It's a different guy. He entered a room and there's a little boy at the table, and there was a gentleman standing over the table, presumably his father, was lecturing the little boy, and then he presumed that the little boy was him. And then the man stood up and went, and all the walls fell down, and it was a big movie set. And other people have had similar experiences to where it's been laid across to them that this reality here is in and of itself and is nothing more than a big simulation, a game, a movie, like the Truman Show. You're playing a role in your own movie. You're playing a role in your own reality, and everything around you is bonus. But the reason why we're really here is to have experiences. You're supposed to have the experience of abundance. You're supposed to have the experience of like unconditional true love. You're supposed to have all these experiences. But when we come back down to this plane of reality, whether it's a mind wipe, it's a whatever. There are people that have reported past lives. There was I believe he was an 8 or 9 year old child. It was a few years ago that could recall something that happened to him in World War I. Down to the names of places. There's been a lot of that. So ostensibly, when you come back, because energy never dies, when you decide you want to come down here and be in the movie and play the game, you forget who you are. It's your job to figure out and awaken to who you are, what you are, the reality of what you are, which is source energy. It's basically God having an experience through you. You are God having this experience. And it's not a blasphemous thing or anything like that. I have the utmost respect for the universe and, the gods of my faith and the whole 9 yards, which also lends credence to be that other gods are real. The gods are real. The people upstairs are real. But basically, let's create. So anyway, you forget who you are. And you need to figure out how to manipulate energy. Dolores Cannon had some really cool videos on YouTube about that's really why you come here. And once you realize how to manipulate energy and you understand how everything works, that essentially, literally, you can be, do, or have anything you choose, anything you want. And it comes down to your inner belief systems. It comes down to when you grew up. what kind of things were implanted in you when you were born, because from the age of birth to 7 years old, your brain is in what they call theta, and that absorbs everything that you hear. So if you grow up and you hear, you're not a good person, you'll never do this, you'll never be rich, all these things get implanted in your subconscious mind, and they become roadblocks to you attaining these things. Because if you have these embedded deep beliefs, odds are that you're going to be just tripping over yourself, and it's not going to happen. Sorry, allergies, my nose drove me crazy. Odds are that these things aren't going to happen in your reality until you can overcome that, get rid of this faulty programming, and be who you're supposed to be. Have that experience of, like I said, the unconditional love, true love. Have your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever you want to call it. Be abundant, love everybody, because that is the purveying. I used to hear that when I was younger, and it was like, everything is love, and all you need is love, the Beatles. And I used to think, holy jumping Jesus, here come the drum circles and the smelly hippies. That's exactly what triggered in my mind. But it wasn't until later, in a few experiences that I had, just between losing people, and I've told the stories before, the people that know me, between losing people and, health crises and all this kind of stuff, that one day my entire globe stopped spinning, and I just sat there. And I've been on the verge of checking out a few times, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, one of them was, I was done. I wanted to end it. And I heard a not so much audible voice, but it was just you're not done here, and you're really going to short yourself if you don't stick around to see how this turns out. And it really did open that door inside of me to realize that, people are important. Love is important. It's the prevailing highest energy. I mean, Dr. Bruce Lipton and a few others have actually done, no shit scans of the brain and the heart-brain coherence, to show that your heart actually emanates more energy than your brain does. Your heart center does. And then you can get into chakras and all that other stuff. But once you realize that really is a prevailing huge energy that binds everything together, once you realize that, once you have complete self-love, you're so in love with your future. You're so in love with this moment, because this moment is the only thing that exists. Time isn't linear. That's a man-made construct. Everything's happening now. Your past, your present, your future, it's all happening right now, but not to be tied down by things of the future. Live in this moment right here and be in love with your future. Just fall in love with your future, fall in love with yourself, because when you do that, you don't need anybody else. You could desire, you could want. I don't like using the word want, because that signals a lack of some kind. But what you desire, you can be completely in love with yourself and be perfectly fine alone, doing your own thing. But the added benefit of your soulmate or a beloved pet or whatever, that just adds to the experience of your life. But you'll find that when you find that within yourself and you live by that and you understand it, I mean, really cerebrally understand the nature of reality, the nature of energy, the nature of everything's a frequency, your heart-brain coherence, living completely through love. And once you realize that, you can literally be, do, or have anything that you wish. And the question was once posed one time, there was, I guess, Tibetan monks that when they go through their initiations and their trainings, that there comes a point where they realize that nothing is real. Like their mother isn't real, their father isn't real, the people around them that love them aren't real, and some of them fall into a deep depression when they figure out how this game works. And the thing about it is, I always thought about, well, I can understand that. It would be the ultimate mind screw to get to a certain, whole inner peace and self-love and the whole thing. Yeah, and it's all a simulation in a game. But I look at it this way. I have a different take on a lot of things, and there's a reason why. But I look at it this way, that does it matter that it's not real? I still get love for my granddaughter, my daughter, my partner, my lady, parents, friends, even, your pets. You're still receiving that love. So does it really matter that it's not real? in your reality, it's real. And then after this, what we call our lifetime, energy doesn't die. It moves on in another form. So by that token, death isn't real. There's nothing to fear. I can honestly say from my perspective and where I've been, I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of it at all. It's nothing to be feared. It's a transition to somewhere else, and whether you go to Valhalla or heaven or wherever you want to call it, ostensibly there is no hell. Never was, never is, never will be. You return back to that source, which is that energy of love. So when I go down these rabbit holes, it's kind of hard to stop myself. I just kind of, everything comes out and I'm like, but that being said, I really enjoy talking about this stuff, and I'm going to delve more into it in the future as more people, come in and please like us, subscribe, share, the whole 9 yards. As more people do that, I want to try to grow the channel and just have more conversations like this, Open your mind. Don't stay closed-minded to things. Keep your mind open to the possibilities of everything, because what you may find may really astound you. Yeah. So I guess for now, I'm going to end on that note, because if I make these videos too long, my internet connection really sucks. So it's really hard to upload them. But I just want to say, if you get to watch this, I really appreciate you. Like I said, click the like, subscribe, and share, and we'll try to do more. I have some older videos on here that do encapsulate a lot of my beliefs, but they have shifted over the past year and a half slightly. So, watch them for informational value. If it resonates with you, if I resonate with you, keep watching, keep coming back for more. And I'm going to try to do this every couple of days, if I can, or at the very least once a week, as the the inspiration hits me. And I've got the free, and when I have free time to do it, when I'm off, at home and stuff, and I don't need to sleep, or His Majesty Nanook the Husky wants me to take him for 95 walks a day. So anyway, I wish you all well. I hope to see you next time, and everybody have a great night.